Messages of support continue to flood in after Buckingham Palace announced yesterday that King Charles has cancer. And today, Prince Harry arrived from the U.S. His brother William, Prince of Wales, will take on more royal duties as their father undergoes treatment. Well wishes from at home and abroad, including from our Prime Minister, have been pouring in since the news broke. Buckingham Palace isn't saying what kind of cancer it is, except that it is not prostate cancer. It was discovered during a recent hospital procedure for a benign enlarged prostate. CBC's Abby Kuadawson is outside of Buckingham Palace for us, and she joins us now. So, Abby, any update at this point on Harry's arrival and his meeting with his father, the King?
Hillary, a lot going on in the last little while. Just a short while ago, in fact, the King and the Queen Consort Camilla arriving here at Buckingham Palace from Clarence House, which is just down the street. It was the first time that we've seen the monarch since his cancer diagnosis was made public. Just before he arrived here, though, he did meet with Prince Harry at Clarence House, his London residence. Prince Harry, of course, arriving here in London from Los Angeles just within 24 hours of the King's diagnosis being made public. They seem to have been together, at least at the residence, for about 45 minutes. We're not sure now if Prince Harry was part of the motorcade that arrived at Buckingham Palace. Now, this relationship between the two men has certainly been tenuous over the last few years, particularly since 2020, when the King's second son stepped back from his royal duties and moved to the United States with his wife and his son Archie before, of course, Elizabeth was born. But I spoke to a royal commentator, Emily Nash, who said that perhaps this could potentially be a moment that leads to reconciliation. Let's have a listen to what she had to say.
I think with any family, a diagnosis like this makes people reassess their relationships, and absolutely right that Harry should be on his way to see his father. You know, they've not spent any meaningful time together now for several years, even when Harry's visited the UK for his legal cases and also for the coronation. They didn't have any opportunity to catch up properly in person. And while I understand they've been speaking to each other fairly frequently by phone, it's not the same.
Now, the royal standard has been lowered at Buckingham Palace. The Union Jack is up, which means that the monarch has left the residence. He was on board a chopper that is headed towards Sandringham. We expect that he will recuperate there from the treatment that he received on Monday. But again, the King not leaving London before meeting with his son, Prince Harry, at Clarence House. Hillary.
And Abby, well, the King is recuperating. Of course, we know that that means that he's going to be stepping away from some of his engagements. Who else could we see step in for him?
Well, certainly the senior members of the working members of the royal family would potentially be the ones to fill his role in terms of public engagements. That could mean the Queen Consort Camilla. That could mean the Prince of Wales, the heir to the throne, of course, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, but also Princess Anne. Princess Anne, just today alone, participating in 4 royal engagements that were on her calendar. So as we know, the members of the family certainly have a busy schedule and may step in for the King in the weeks to come. But this, of course, refers to public engagements. The palace did say in its statement yesterday that the monarch would continue to carry out his constitutional duties. That includes meeting with the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, on a weekly basis. Whether that will happen in person or continue in another way remains to be seen. But I did ask Emily Nash what could potentially happen if the monarch was not able to carry out those constitutional duties. She says there's a list of counselors of state that could potentially step in. That includes, of course, his wife, his firstborn son, his brother, Prince Edward, and his sister, Princess Anne. And here's what else she had to say about that list.
They include, of course, Queen Camilla, Prince William, Princess Anne, Prince Edward. Other members of the family are councillors of state, Prince Harry, Prince Andrew and Princess Beatrice because of her place in the line of succession. But they won't be called on because they're not working members of the family. Now, at the moment, we're being told that there's absolutely no requirement for the councillors of state to step in, but there are processes there should they need them.
Now, Emily is saying that her sources tell her there's nothing to worry about. We do have to remember this is an election year in the United Kingdom. The monarch must perform two very crucial functions. The first is dissolving a parliament before that election, and the second is asking the victor of that general election to form a government. And as of right now, there are no concerns as far as the royal commentators are saying with that regard, Hillary.
Okay, Abby, thanks for the update. Abby Kuadawson in London.